thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. So this work is with uh, Sumit sir. Okay, so I will start. So the outline of the topic, I will first give some basic definitions. Then I will state the motivation of doing this work. Then the results and final conclusion. So a graph G is the order pair V, I, where V is the vertex set 1 to n, and okay. So we'll say the two vertices they are adjacent in G and they are not related with the normal. So for example, this is a graph on 6 vertices. Okay. So next definition is what is the degree of a vertex? Degree of a vertex I. So a degree of a vertex I will be divided by I is equal to the vertex that I adjacent to 4 and 6. The degree of 5 will be 2. Okay. So the next definition is subgraph. Okay. So a subgraph H of a graph G is a graph whose set of vertices and set of edges are all subsets of that of G. So if B of H is the vertex set of A, it is a subset of vertex set of G, and H set of H is subset of H set of H set of G. Okay. And a subgraph is said to be induced subgraph with a vertex set S if H is the maximal subgraph of G with respect to the vertex set S. So in that case, in the previous subgraph case, we may miss some of the edges to the vertices we are taking, but in case of the induced subgraph, we are taking all possible edges from the original of the vertex set S. Okay. So next we will define when two vertices are connected, and then otherwise they are called disconnected. And they graph say to be connected if every pair of vertices in the graph is connected. So for example, you can take path, cycle, trees, complete graph, and complete bipartite graph. So here we will mainly focus on complete bipartite graph, and for that I will give the definition of both complete graph and complete bipartite. So a graph with n vertices is said to be complete if each of the vertex of the vertex of the graph is adjacent to every other vertex in the graph, and it will be denoted by K. So for example, this figure is K5, where these 5 vertices are connected to, for example, this vertex is connected to all the vertices. It's mainly is true for all other vertices. Okay. So next I will define what is complete bipartite graph. Before that, I will define what is a bipartite. Okay. So a graph G is said to be bipartite if the vertex set of the graph G can be partitioned into two subsets, B1 and B2 set, such that there are only edges between those two parts. So there will be no edge between within both. And in order that this partition B1 and B2 is said to be complete bipartite, if every vertex in B1 is adjacent to every and further, if cardinality of V1 is M and cardinality of V2 is M, then so for example, here this thing you can consider this thing as V1 and this set as V2, then this is a complete bipartite graph A 4, 3. So next, I will define what is the independence number. So a set of vertices I is said to be an independent set if no pair of vertices of I are adjacent, and the independence number of G is denoted by alpha G is the cardinality of the largest independent set. So I will draw an example. Let us take a complete bipartite graph. So maybe if I take these two vertices I, then it is an independent set because this two has no edges in between. But the maximal independent set will be if I take these four vertices. So this is a maximal independent set, and so the independence number of this graph will be 4. Okay. So an independent set of cardinality alpha g will call this an alpha g set. Okay. So next we will define what is an adjacency matrix. So an adjacency matrix of a graph is a Euclidean matrix. Will denote it by A of g is equal to Aij, where the ij entry is 1 if I not equal to j, and I is adjacent to j, and it will be 0 otherwise. So for example, here is the graph G in the corresponding adjacency matrix. So here, for example, if I want to see what happens to the, so since it is a symmetric matrix, so if I see the row, it will the column will be same. So for example, if I take 1 is adjacent to 4, so that's why this 1 4 entry is 1 and all others are 0. So similarly, you can construct the whole matrix. So this is the adjacency. Okay, so next I will define what is a card vertex of a graph and then what are blocks of a graph. Okay, so a vertex V of a connected graph G is a card vertex. If we delete the vertex V from the graph, then it becomes disconnected. And a block of a graph is a maximal connected subgraph that does not contain any card vertex. Okay, so if I consider this following graph G, then you can see this vertex is a cut vertex, because if I delete that, then the graph will be disconnected. So similarly, this vertex is also a cut vertex. So if I want to look at what are the blocks of the graph, then it will be B1, B2, B3, and B. These four are the blocks of the graph G. Okay. So next is what is a leaf block? So a block is said to be a leaf block if its deletion does not disconnect the remaining graph. So for example, so if you consider the again diagram picture, the graph G. So suppose if I consider this block, if I consider this block, if I delete this, remove this leaf block, then the remaining part of the graph still remains connected. So this is a leaf. Okay. So the next is we introduce one notation and define what is this notation. So suppose we have two blocks F and G, F and H of the graph G. Will say they are neighbors if they are connected via conductors. So for example, if I take this as A and this as G, this as H, then these two are neighbors because they are connected via this conductor. Okay. So we'll use this notation F circle H to represent the induced subgraph on the vertex set of the two neighboring blocks F and H. So next we will define what are block graphs and bi-block. Okay. So a graph is said to be a block graph if each of its blocks are complete. So for example, this graph is a block graph because each of its blocks. So this is a block. This is a K3. This is again a K3, and this is a K. So these three blocks are there in the graph, and each of them are complete graphs. So extending this definition, we define what is a bi-block graph. So a bi-block graph is a graph where each of its blocks are complete bipartite blocks. So if I draw one, so I am not drawing all the edges. So suppose this is the third vertex. So suppose this is one of the, and this is the. So all possible edges are there. So I am not drawing all the edges. So okay, so suppose this is 8. So So this is K 3 comma 3, and this part is K 3 comma. So here it is a block by block graph where these two are the blocks, and this is the cut. So next we define what is a block index of a vertex. So for a vertex B belongs to capital B, the block index of vertex denoted by Dig of B equals to the number of blocks in which the vertex B is there. So for example, if I consider this vertex is only in one block, so it's by the block index will be 1. But if I consider this third vertex, it is sharing 2 blocks, so its block index will be 2. So this is one definition. So next, here we will consider the star graph. So you can see that we can consider the star graph as biblock graph, where each of the blocks are edges. But instead of that, we will consider this star graph as a complete bipartite graph. Okay, so instead of biblock, this. No, then some results from matrix and graph. So for any column vector X, which is of order of the vertex set, if X represents the entry of X corresponding to the vertex set U, then we get this result from the adjacency matrix. That X transpose A of A G of X is equal to 2 times of XU XV summation, where U is adjacency. So the next point is for a connected graph G with more than 2 vertices, greater than or equal to 2 vertices, by Perron-Frobenius theorem, the spectral radius is a simple positive eigenvalue, and the associated eigenvector is entry. We will refer to such eigenvector as Perron vector. So next result is given by the Min-Max theorem. The Min-Max theorem states that the spectral radius rho of G is equal to maximum of X not equal to 0, X transpose A of G divided by X transpose X. Then 2 more results from graph theory. So suppose capital delta of G denote the maximum vertex degree and small delta of G denote the minimum vertex degree. Then the spectral radius lies between the small delta of G and capital delta. Okay. So the next result will be used most in the paper. So that is, suppose there is one edge, so there is 2 vertices and they are not adjacent. So that is xy is not an edge in the original graph. Then if I increase, if I add that edge in the graph, that is G plus xy, that is it is obtained from G by adding that edge xy, then the spectral radius increases. So this result will be heavily in the result. Okay. So this was the basic things we needed. So next I will tell the motivation. So studying spectral radius for different classes of graphs is an active area. So for example, spectral radius of some examples I am giving. There is spectral radius of unicyclic graph with given independence number as we studied. Similarly, trees with fixed diameter, then spectral radius of trees with independence number. These things are studied. And also we have a study related to spectral radius of block graphs with a given independence number. So our main motivation was to extend it for bilock graphs when we fix the independence number alpha. So next I will move to the results. Okay. So suppose G is a bipartite graph with vertex partition M and N. So suppose so then one can see that the independence number is the maximum of the cardinality of M. Okay. So since every biblock graph is a bipartite graph, so a biblock graph G on K vertices has the independence number. If the independence number is alpha G, then independence number lies between the ceiling of K by 2 and K minus. Okay. So next is so suppose G is a biblock graph and H is any leaf block connected to the graph G at a card vertex V, and G minus H is the graph obtained from G by removing H minus V. Then we'll denote H restricted to G minus. So it is suppose I is an alpha G set, then I restricted to G minus H will denote all those vertices belongs to I, such that U belongs to the vertex set of G minus. Okay. So, and for the class of all Dirac blocks with k vertices and the independence number alpha will be denoted by discrete d k comma alpha. Okay. So let G be a biblock graph consisting of just two blocks, that is F and H, and they are connected by the cut vertex. So suppose you can see the picture below. So this is F and this vertex. So F is K P comma Q. So here I am denoting with the partition set K P comma Q, where coordinate of capital is small p, and similarly the coordinate of capital is, and H is the complete pattern is the K capital. And suppose A is the adjacency matrix of the graph G, and rho comma X is the eigenpair corresponding to respectively. If X2 denote the entry of X corresponding to the matrix set is, then from the adjacency relation, that is equal to rho of X, we have the following, that is rho of X2 is equal to summation of W adjacent to X. So, for example, if U belongs to N, so if U belongs to N, suppose that is U is here, U is the point here, then this U is only adjacent to the partition N. This thing is only adjacent to the partition N. So, this will be summation over all vertices in N, that is summation W belongs to N, X. So, similarly, for other vertices, we can define this thing, that is if it is belongs to M, and if it is belongs to M and not the card vertex, this thing we are defining distortions A, AP, and A. And so one thing you can see that only the card vertex V, it is adjacent to both parts. That is, it is adjacent to the partitions in P, and it is also adjacent to the vertices in N. So from those adjacency relation, we got this relation. Okay. Yes. So let me draw the. So here the point was denoted as AP. So every point will denote by AP because each point is isomorphic. Right? Any point we will take, it will be same because it behaves. So what is rho of AP? Rho of AP is, it is connected to all the vertices in Q. So all the vertices in general vertex is denoted by AQ except the cut vertex, that is XG. So how many AQs are there? That is Q minus 1. So it is Q minus 1 times of AQ plus H. Similarly, P times of AP is equal to rho of AQ. And for the cut vertex XG, what I told, it will be connected to the partitions, all the vertices in P and all the vertices in N. So it is P times of AP plus N times of N is equal to rho times of X. Similarly, we can get I equivalent I. Now, using the identities, we can see that actually the entry XV is nothing but the sum of these two entries, AQ plus A. Because it is intuitively also it comes because XV is that vertex V is shared by both partitions Q and N. So it is actually the sum of the two parts, that is AQ and A. So using this, we got some identities. So this I'll tell later when it is used. So next, the statement is, so suppose G is a graph in the class of all biblock graphs with k vertices and independence number alpha. Then if G contains two blocks, then the spectral radius of G is strictly less than the spectral radius of k alpha comma k minus. Okay. So here also we are taking the two blocks to be F and H. They are connected as a cut vertex V, and the relations are same. That is, ordinary of capital P is P, the capital Q is Q, and X. So if you can, one can check that the total number of vertices is K. That is nothing but P plus Q plus N plus N minus 1. Okay. So if M is 1 and Q is 1, then it is K is reduces to P plus N plus 1, and it is nothing but the star. So in that class, we have only one graph. So it is vectors with two. The result is vectors. So the remaining the remaining part of the proof will consider case by case. What happens when there is relation between M and P. So the first case. So first case is P is greater than equal to Q and N is greater than equal to N. So I will look at this part of the picture, and for the case 2 I will use this. So here this was okay. So if you can, since P is greater than Q, I choose this one. And N is greater than M, so I choose this. So if I choose these two partitions and union, if I take I to be P union N, then it is the alpha descent because they are greater. And we consider the complete bipartite graph G star, where P tilde is P union N and Q tilde is Q union N. So I bring this partition to this side and add here. So this is my N. So then I take P union N to be one part and Q union N to be one. And when I consider the complete bipartite graph, then we are adding edges than what was existing in the graph. So since we are adding edges, so by that theorem, so the spectral radius will increase. So this part is done. So now consider the second case where Q is strictly greater than P. So that is this part is Q, and M is greater than equal to N. So this. So the I is nothing but Q union N, and similar thing, that is we are bringing this N to this. So now consider the graph, complete bipartite graph, where P tilde is Q union N and Q tilde is Q union N. So now we are seeing also we are adding edges here, extra edges to obtain G star from G. So this spectral radius will increase. Okay, so this was the first case. Then the case 3 is Q is strictly greater than P and N is strictly greater than N. So since Q is strictly greater than, so let me go this way. This is Q and N. So one thing we can see that V cannot be a point in the independent set, because if we have V, then since V is adjacent to the all vertices in N, then N cannot be in the independent set. But that will reduce the number of this ordinary Q plus N plus N plus. So we choose independent set to be Q minus V union N. So we will consider this into subcases. So what happens if P is equal to actually Q minus 1, just one vertex less than what is in Q. So then instead of taking this Q as the partition, we can take this P. So I bring N here again, like the other problem. So here N is there. I join with I P tilde to be Q union N and Q tilde to be Q union N. And using the same logic, so since we are adding extra edges, so rho of G is declared as the rho of G. Okay. So the next subcases, so here we consider that P is equal to Q minus. So next subcase is P is strictly less than Q minus. So then what? Okay. So So same here, the alpha G set we are considering Q minus V union A, and here we are considering P tilde to be Q union and Q tilde to be Q minus V union A. So what is happening is, so I am removing N from here. So this N is not here. So I am bringing M along with this cut vertex. And U is here. U minus V. Just to change it. So, but one thing you can see that this is no longer only adding edges. So actually, what happens is we have to delete the edges, delete some of the edges. That is, we have to delete the edges between the vertex V and the vertices of P, because the vertex V is in M now, because here we have chosen Q minus. So now no longer we can't use that the increasing the number of edges in the spectral edges. So in these cases, we'll use the adjacency relation to show that the spectral edges actually increase. So that I will show in the next page. So here, as usual, A is the adjacency matrix of G, rho and X are the eigenvalues corresponding with the spectral edges of A, and let A star be the adjacency matrix of G. So if I can show that X transpose A star minus A of X is greater than equal to 0, then we are done. So this can be written as in this following summation. That is, this is minus because we are deleting the edges between the part vertex V and the partition of P, and these two are plus because these two are we are adding edges. That is, U adjacent to W, U belongs to A, and W belongs to Q minus V, and this also we are adding. So now here, I am not going into the detail of the proof. Now here, using the adjacency relation, I showed you before, you can actually show that this is greater than equal to 0. So this will increase the spectral edges. So next we move to the case 4. Case 4 is P is strictly greater than Q and M is strictly greater than M. So this part is P is strictly greater than Q and M is strictly greater than M. So this here also I cut off M from the Q. So here will be P. This is M minus V, and this partition is Q, and Q contains the vertex V, and this part is. So this part you can see it is analogous to the case 3. So I am not doing it. It is rho of G is strictly greater than rho of G. So this one is analogous to the case. Okay. So we have shown the result for 2 blocks. So now what happens when there are B blocks in the graph? So suppose the statement goes like this. So G belongs to the script B k comma alpha, and we are taking that the block index of every cut vertex in G is equal to 2. Then our claim is that rho of G is less than equal to rho of k alpha comma k minus alpha, and equality holds. You can only G is equal to this graph. So we will prove by induction, but the base case has already been done before. That is for 2 blocks, and we will assume for B minus 1 that the result is 2, and 2 for 3 blocks. Okay. So then first these things are the usual thing. That is, we are taking H, a complete bipolar graph with partition M and N to be a leaf block of the graph which is connected at the cut vertex V. So since the bi-block index is 2, so there is exist a unique block A that is neighbor to the block A, and let I be the independence that alpha G set of G with cardinality. So here also we will consider cases to complete the proof. Okay. So the first case is that I intersection P is empty and I intersection Q is also n. So in either case, M minus B or I, M minus B belongs to I or N belongs to I. So next, since both are empty, we'll consider here P. I will take P union with N, and this Q union with N. If I consider this thing, then if I join these two blocks, then the number of blocks will reduce to B minus 1, and the result follows using induction. So next case is if I intersection P is empty and I intersection Q is not empty. Okay. So for M greater than equal to N, you can assume that M belongs to I. Then we consider the graph. This we are taking the union of Q and N and the union of P and N. So this thing will do the same thing, that we are increasing the spectral radius if we join this two. Okay. So next, move on to the case 3, where I intersection P is empty and I intersection Q is normal. So the previous case we considered that M is greater than equal to N. So here we are considering that N is strictly greater than N. Then what happens? So one thing you can see that V cannot be in the independent set, because this logic I already explained. So if V is in the independent set, then the partition N cannot be in the independent set. But still, if I can consider this skip N by deleting the vertex V from the independent set and taking N, then it will increase the cardinality, which is a contradiction. So V does not belong to this N, and I restricted to G minus H union N, and alpha of G is cardinality of the independent set in the graph G minus H plus. Okay, so we'll prove the case 3 in subcase. So first subcase is what happens if all the vertices in Q are cut vertex. It may happen that all the vertices in Q are cut. So we start with any vertex which is different than the cut vertex P. Suppose U. So suppose here is a vertex U. So since by the block index of each vertex is 2, there is a unique neighbor to the which is joined at the point P. So for example, I can take this one. This is R. Yes. So this is the neighboring block, which has two partitions R and S, and R intersection Q is U. So since U belongs to independent set, U belongs to I, and it is also sharing with the partition R, so S cannot be in the independent set. So I intersection S is empty. And now we consider the biblock graph G, which is obtained by taking this two units. So I am taking P and union with S, and this R adjoining with P. So if I merge these two blocks, then the total number of blocks will reduce to B minus 1 blocks and induction will end. So this was the subcase 1, where all the vertices of Q are cut vertex. So next is what happens if there is a vertex which is not a cut in Q. So that is the next subcase. So suppose C is not a cut vertex. So since I intersection P is empty, so C belongs to I. So that is, there is no problem with C. So again, we'll use the adjacency relations to prove the result. Okay, so for the partition N, we'll use all the vertices Bn for the eigenvector, the parent vector. And if U is not equal to V and belongs to N, we will use Bn. So from this adjacency relation Ax is equal to rho of x, we'll have this 4 relations. And this thing already know that cut vertex, if a cut vertex, the parent vector energy will be the sum of two parent vector entities in the which the two blocks they are sharing. So these results are not going into the relation. I will mainly explain the idea. So now we break the subcase in the condition where the entry of the parent vector has relations among them. So here Bn denotes the entry for M, capital M, and Bn is for the capital M. So the first subcase is what happens when Bn is greater than equal to Bn. Okay. So then we take P tilde to be P, this thing, P union M, means M means containing the guard vertex V, and U tilde to be U minus V, means union with M. So here again we have to delete some edges, that is we have to delete the edges between V and P. These edges we have to delete, and then we consider these three operations we have to do at edges between M and Q minus V, and also at edges between Q and M. Then using again the adjacency relations, will achieve the result that the spectral radius actually increases. Okay. So the next subcase is, so previous subcase we considered that Bm is greater than equal to Bn. So here the next subcase is Bn is strictly less than Bn. Bm is strictly less than Bn. Okay. So this thing is, okay. So here we partition the set N into two parts. So that is when partition the set into two parts. This is N1 and N2. Okay. So with cardinality of N1 as N and cardinality of N2 as N plus. So next we consider the complete bipartite graph, but P tilde is, so maybe P, and we are taking only N1, half of the, no, not half, there's a partition of a part of the total vertex, and Q tilde will be this portion. Q is there, M is there, and the second part of it, that is N. So if I want to draw that, I can draw boxes, it will be out. So it is P, here it is N1, here Q, M. So here they have a common vertex, and here it is L. So these are the N. This is how we are joining. So to bring this together, we have to do this following 5 operations. That is, delete the edges between M and N2, because M and N2 are coming into same part, and add the remaining parts, add the remaining edges. So here also we can't directly say with the theorem that the increasing edge is a spectral radius, because it is deleting edges. So again, using the adjacency relation, we'll obtain the result. So this thing also not do. So the next case is what happens if I intersection. So previous cases we are considering that I intersection P was empty and I intersection Q was not empty. But here the fourth case is that I intersection P is empty, non-empty, and I intersection.
I think he lost his connection.
Hello?
Yeah, Jayant Anuj?
So,
yeah,
yes, connection was lost.
Okay, yeah. Please.
I'm continuing.
Share the screen.
Share, yeah.
Yes. Yes. So the case 4 is I intersection P is non-empty and I intersection Q is empty. So first case is we are considering that N is greater than equal to N, or M is equal to N plus 1. So here we consider similar thing, that is we are joining P with N and Q with N. So now the arguments use the same color, but okay. So arguments related to similar to case 1 will be that, because we are increasing only the edges. We are not deleting to this case 4. And this is the final case, that is case 5, that the independence, I said I, when the intersection P is non-empty, and I intersection Q is empty, and M is strictly greater than N plus. Okay. So So here we have that M minus B belongs to the independent set I. Now we consider all the neighboring blocks of F. So if this part is the P comma Q, that part. So suppose there are J blocks, that is Bi, with partitions Ri and Si from 1 to J. And these are connected via card vertices to the partition P. So without loss of generality, we can assume that Si intersection P is non-linear. That is, all the neighboring blocks are adjacent, are sharing the vertex with S and P. So for any one of such neighbor, if so, I will draw one. So this is Si and R. Okay. So if I intersection Ri is empty, then we can consider P tilde to be P union Si and Q tilde to be Q union Ri. Then again, we are only increasing the number of edges by merging these two blocks, and it will increase the settlement. Okay. So, but what happens if no such neighbor exists? So then we will proceed inductively and look for the neighbors of the neighbor. That is, BIs are the neighbors of the block F. Then we will look at the neighbors of BIs, each of the BIs, and search for similar properties. So it may happen that those neighbor also does not have the property what we are searching. But since G is a finite graph, so if we can either find a neighbor with the suitable properties, or we'll reach a leaf block which does not satisfy the property. So I will tell more explicitly what is happening. So in the case that where we did not find any neighbor with the property, then there is a finite chain of blocks Ci is equal to k times of mi. This is partition mi and ni, where the chain contains one I is varying from 1 to t, which satisfies the following condition. That is, from one end, that is C1 is H. So if I can right. So this was H, starting leaf block, that is Mn. Then we have this neighbor, and we are going in this direction. So this is the last. So suppose this is CT. So CT has partition MT. So this is the chain. So both H and CT are leaf blocks, and for I running from 1 to T minus 1, and the blocks Ci and Ci plus 1 are neighbors, with Mi intersection Ni plus 1 is on it. And I intersection Ni is empty for all I is equal to 1 to I2 running from 1 to T. Now, since CT is a leaf block that is connected to CT minus 1, so you can draw CT minus 1, that is here. So this is maybe MT minus 1, MT minus 1. So this is the block CT minus 1, and it is connected by a cut vertex Q. So we are also already considering the block index of each cut vertex is 2. So it can be seen that I intersection n t minus 1 is empty, and I intersection n t is empty implies the coordinate of empty is strictly greater than n. So now if we are starting from this side, right? So now if we start looking at the graph from this end, so CT is also a leaf block, then this case is analogous to the case 3, and our result follows. So this result we have proved where each of the block index, the BI of the card vertex is 2. Then, but the class script B of A comma alpha does not contain those type of graphs, right? So it may happen that block index is more. Then what will happen? So this gives us the following lemma, that if G belongs to the class B K comma alpha, then we can always show that there exists a biblock graph G star with index biblock index of each of the card vertex equal to 2, and and the spectral radius is more. It is rho of G is less than or equal to G square. So I will prove this thing. Okay, so we started with a biblock graph G, and suppose there is a cut vertex where the block index is greater than or equal to 3. That is 3. We are taking 3 is greater than or equal to 3. So since it is greater than or equal to 3, so it is shared by at least 3 blocks. So we are taking 3 of them. That is bi from I is equal to 1 to 3, which each partitions mi and ni. So, and without loss of generality, we can always consider that the cut vertex V is contained in the second partition, that is n1, n2, and n. So V belongs to this n1, n2, intersection n2, intersection n3. Okay, so let I be the alpha G set, that is the independent maximal independence set. And if vertex set of bi in the intersection I is non-empty for all the 3, that is I is equal to 1, 2, 3, then either mi intersection I is non-empty or ni intersection I is non-empty. So by pigeonhole principle, there exists I comma j belongs to 1 to 3, that either I intersection ni is empty and I intersection ni is empty, or this works for both m partition, that is mi is empty and mj is empty. So in either case, we can merge 2 blocks, that is mi mj and ni nj, this bi and bj, these 2 blocks. Then we can see that that I is an alpha G star set with, and it has reduced the block index of the vertex to T minus. And also we have increased the spectral radius by merging these 2 blocks. So in this way, we can reduce to 2. We can start with any block index V as P, which is greater than or equal to 3, and then reduce all the block indexes to 2. So similarly, if V of the I0 intersection I is empty, for some I naught belongs to 1, 2, and 3, and then for J not equal to I naught, using this thing, that is partition A with m tilde n tilde, where it is m tilde is mi naught union mj and ni naught union nj. A similar argument will later. So the statement I will go here. So that is, for any, starting with any biblock graph in the class, we can obtain a biblock graph G star where each of the block index of the cut vertex is that, and the spectral radius is more than the original. So combining all these things, this gives us the main result of the paper. So that is, if G belongs to the class B k comma alpha, then spectral radius of G is less than or equal to spectral radius of k alpha comma k minus alpha, and equality holds if value this is G is equal to k alpha comma k minus alpha. Okay, so these are your references. Okay, so
Yeah. Thank you, Jandanuj, for the interesting talk. Yeah. Audience, if you have any question, you can ask now. Okay. So, Jandanuj, what about this extremal problem for just block graphs instead of biblock?
yes. So this is done.
Oh, here. Okay, okay. So, what is the extremal candidate there? Which?
So I exactly don't remember now.
Yeah, it is a complete graph with a star on it. One of its graphs.
Oh.
One of its.
Okay.
Recently done.
Okay, yeah, 2020. Yeah, maybe I have a question. I don't know, is it meaningful or not? So, like you are defining bi-block here. Now we can think of the combination of blocks and bipartite blocks, right? Each block
Yes,
is either complete graph or complete bipartite graph.
yes.
Whether this question will make sense for that class, or whether your technique will solve that problem also.
So this thing, so how I did the proof.
Haha.
So mainly two things we are using, right? That is, we are increasing the edge. That is one thing. And in the cases where we are deleting the edge, we are using the that adjacency relation. So this is easy to handle because we have two partitions in each block, right? Bipartite.
Okay.
So I don't think similar technique will work if both choices are there. That is, it is complete blocks are also there and by blocks also.
Okay.
Rajesh, it is because when you delete or add something,
Okay.
Partition things will not work because the operations for block graphs are different.
Okay.
Here the choice is in such a way that each time you are fixing independence number, so this partitions helps you to control it by partition.
Okay. This bi-block graphs, can you give some reference? Are you introducing it, or is it there in the literature?
No, it depends.
Oh, you are defining.
No. Bi-block graph is already done for distance matrix. I think for distance matrix, inverse of distance matrix by a few Chinese authors.
Okay.
Lama.
Oh, Lama. Okay.
Yeah. But after that also, Bappar have one for incidence matrix, he did it. It was a 20 paper, discrete math.
Okay.
There are bi-block graph people handling it. It is there. Some literature is there.
Okay.
Because block graph is introduced by also Bappar for distance matrix.
Yes, that I know.
Yeah. Bi-block, after that, to extend that result, bi-block graph is done.
Okay.
Then Bappar also did for incident matrix, as I told you. Bi-block graph.
Okay.
To find the more Penrose inverse. There are a few other results, but exactly I don't remember. There are a few others.
Okay. Thank you.
Jonathan, I can suggest something. You should the last result. You should have put a diagram, not a paragraph writing.
Oh, this lemma.
Yeah. You use diagram. Who will read this paragraph? Okay.
Yeah. Audience, any other question? Yeah. Okay. So if not, let us thank Jayant Anuj for his interesting talk. Yeah.